Shooting B-roll can be pretty tedious, even for me. First, I have to come up with a concept based on my script, and then I have to plan the shot, and then I have to shoot it and bring it into the edit, and all of that just for this. 3 seconds of me being an idiot. So worth it. And that's all great, but the problem is that when you shoot B-roll around the house, it tends to look boring and plain. There's nothing cinematic about it. There's a lot that goes into making any shot look more cinematic, and there are lots of videos that cover that. But today, I want to show you 3 ways to make your B-roll look better that I bet not many people have been talking about.
I think I'm gonna go take a Majority of living spaces today are painted white. That is quite a safe assumption to make because white reflects the most light, and our homes need light. However, when you watch movies or TV shows, you'll notice that living spaces on screen are rarely white. Unless a location is deliberately meant to look white and sterile, like a hospital or a castrato, cinematographers typically avoid white walls because white lacks dimension. You can't observe light on white because there simply isn't enough tonal contrast. This means that anything shot on a white background will lack depth. So, avoid having pure white walls as your background. And when you can't avoid that, you can try changing your angle to line up with a different background, with the ceiling or with the floor. Alternatively, you can make some cardboard or wood panels which you can move around. If you want to go the extra mile, you can do what I did. See if you can tell. Yes, you guessed it. I shot this scene a few weeks after the original and I did lose weight. But also, I painted the walls. And yes, that's a bit of an extreme thing to be tip number 1. However, it's gonna help me better illustrate tips number 2 and 3. Remember, you can't observe light on a white background. Well, I had to paint my background so I could explain tips number 2 and 3. It would be logical for me to say,
lighting is important, it's very important.
But everyone knows that. So number 2 is not lighting, but it's something that takes your lighting to a different level. It's a hazer.
Hazer? I don't even know her.
You know in movies or music videos when it's an early morning shot and you can see the rays of sun pouring into the room? Well, you're not actually seeing the light. You're seeing the reflection or the refraction of the light in haze, which is basically water molecules suspended in the air. So I think it's refraction. And don't for a second think that any of that is natural, because real haze, she's just there for a couple of minutes. She doesn't hang around. So you can have great lighting that looks like this, and when you add haze, it looks like this. But there are difficulties in using a hazer. Depending on the quality of the liquid and the machine itself, you might have to keep hazing and rehazing. That's a weird verb. And there's usually only a short window of time when the mist is perfect. It's a bit complex, but it's totally worth it for a short B-roll scene where looking cool is more important than continuity, because it's not going to be the same 2 shots. Hazers can be quite expensive, but you can get a smoke machine on Amazon for quite cheap. Now, hazers and smoke machines are 2 different things. They use different liquids. Do not mix them up. Smoke machines are cheaper, but the haze and the smoke they create will not last as long, so you need to keep rehazing. If you want to buy a smoke machine, I have some affiliate links in the description below. So what exactly is the haze doing? It's diffusing the light. It's making it softer. The shadows are demure. They are mindful. They make everyone look good. Now there's another way we can achieve similar results, and that brings us to the last tip. Camera diffusion filters. These are high-quality, thin pieces of glass that go in front of the lens. They have really tiny, microscopic etches and scratches. When light hits these imperfections, it bends and gets scattered in different directions. This creates a halo effect around bright sources. Not a blurry effect, because most of the light passes through normally, so the overall sharpness is fine.
Here are a bunch of shots that show you how using a diffusion filter over your lens changes an image. I use a combination of Black Pro-Mist filters made by Tiffen. Check out the links below if you're interested.
Using diffusion filters gives you a similar look as the haze, but it's in one uniform layer, so there isn't any depth. However, if you use a diffusion filter and shoot on a background that isn't white, with haze, you get a beautiful image to which you can add a lot, some grain, and voila. You are ready for your Oscar in cinematography. Any hack that lets you diffuse an image or the lighting in a scene has a slight risk of producing a soft or blurry image. To ensure that you always have the sharpest possible image, check out my video on how different camera settings affect image sharpness.